Welcome back to Tiny Grimes Games, and I'm here with another Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes video. And today I want to talk about the most recent patch that happened on February 23rd. And there wasn't a lot to this patch, but there was a huge new feature added, and that is the shard shop that people had been somewhat disappointed by has now become a house of utter and complete disappointment followed by rage by many of the not just free-to-play players, but many of the non-utter whale players in the game. Let's talk about why this is. So essentially, General Grievous is available in the Shard Shop, which is great. He's a new character. He looks cool. Everyone wants him. The problem is he is available for a huge amount of shards. So in order to get him, I saw somebody say, in order to get him to 7 stars, you would need something like 4,900 extra shards. So if you think about this, no one is able to do that who isn't spending a lot of money. I haven't done the math on this, but I'm guessing multiple thousands of dollars. It's this kind of spender that the General Grievous character is being marketed at. And so there's really two ways to look at this, I think. There is the free-to-play player perspective that I've seen, which is utter outrage. Because the problem is, with him being in the Shard Shop, he's technically available, right? It's not like these Chromium-only characters where you just have to say, listen, I can't get that character. It's fine, but it's been a character that's in the game. This is a brand new character being introduced that you could technically get if you had enough shards, but as a free-to-play player, you have no possible way to get this. So some people are very upset that they cannot get General Grievous. Now, if you look at it from the other perspective, what is General Grievous doing being in the Shard Shop? What I think General Grievous is doing is giving the players who spent a lot of money on this game an outlet. It's giving them a feeling of, I can spend a lot of money in this game and have something to spend it on. By making Grievous cost so much, I get this privileged feeling that I'm the only one who can get General Grievous. Now I can spend all my shards on this. I can then feel free to go spend a whole bunch more money on more packs, have more shards for the next shard character. So basically the Shard Shop is allowing whale players to have a constant source of being able to spend this, because you know there's going to be a new character that will come in the shop at some point. So why not go ahead, buy more packs, stockpile, be ready for that new character as well. All right, so if you want to ask me where I stand on this, I'm a free-to-play player. I will not get General Grievous when he's in the Shard Shop. However, I don't actually care. This is my philosophy on not just this game, but all of these games that are free-to-play or pay-to-play, depending on the route you take. If a new character is meta-shaping and meta-defining, it's incredibly frustrating when a whole huge segment of the population of the game is locked out of this character. From what I can gather, which isn't a lot, I don't feel like we have a lot of data points, General Grievous does not seem to be that character. General Grievous is not a Poe from before Poe was nerfed. He is a character that looks cool, that a lot of people want. This is the whole point of having a pay-to-play element, that you make a character or you make a feature that is cool, that is fun, that is motivating to buy, but doesn't destroy the game if other people don't have access to it. So that's the one hand. I feel like Grievous is fine. He fits that role of being cool, but not something you have to compete. On the other hand, Capital Games has already demonstrated that they're willing to move these characters around. That yes, General Grievous today is not accessible to the free-to-play player, but in 2 to 3 months from now, he very well may be available. And again, this is exactly how this model works when it's most successful, is you take something that is only available to people who are basically supporting the game, so free players can actually play the game for free. You offer it to these people, it is not meta-defining, it is not game-breaking, and then 2 to 3 months down the line, everyone else has access to it. Paying players get to feel privileged that they had early access. Free-to-play players know that at some point down the line, they're going to get this character and it didn't break the game. So my perspective on the Shard Shop on General Grievous is that the Shard Shop is not for the free-to-play player. It is filling a role for the player who's willing to support the game heavily with their wallet. They have an avenue to use these resources, but don't panic. he's not meta shaping. Now, if a character goes in here that is meta defining, then you'll see a whole different reaction from me. Okay, so that is the primary part of the patch. However, there's a very interesting secondary aspect of the patch, which is the Royal Guard. What I think, it's not just that the Royal Guard got buffed, and the Royal Guard looks really interesting now. He has this cool ability that basically when someone falls below 50% health, he's going to pick up a taunt. He also gets turn meter just from people getting damaged. So he becomes really interesting in how do you play against him. It's like if you're going to kill somebody, you better kill them. You don't want to just drop some guy and then hit him again and then hit him again and give Royal Guard taunt. You need to be able to have these glass cannons that are knocking somebody down completely. Maybe not glass cannon, but a cannon that's knocking him down completely. I haven't seen many people using him yet. I've heard there are some people at the top boards experimenting with the Royal Guard. I can only get the Royal Guard to 4 right now. As you can see, he's in that intermediate spot where he's not really free to play character unless you have an infinite patience, infinite time, then he can be. What I think is really fascinating about Royal Guard is that if you remember, not that long ago, there was a package deal where you could buy for a not ridiculous amount of money Ewoks, Royal Guards, I don't even remember who the third character was, but it was trash, right? It was like, hey, you want to give us money for absolute trash? And most people looked at that and said, no. Why would I buy this character? Here's your answer. Characters don't just get nerfs, they get buffs also. So a character that is especially bad could be somebody worth investing in, as crazy as that sounds, because that's a character that is most available for buffs. We already saw this with Mace Windu. He was universally decried as one of the very worst characters in the game. He got a substantial buff, and now we're saying the same thing with Royal Guard. So for me, this is really fascinating that we're getting this window into how Capital Games works at a pretty early stage in their development, that they are willing to buff characters that seem like they are just unplayable garbage. So keep that in mind as you see offers that maybe you're on the fence about and think, these characters are just too bad. Maybe they're going to get a buff sometime. All right, so in summary, Grievous, I don't think he's worth panicking over. I think he's just a thing that happened. He'll be available someday. If General Grievous is your very favorite character, my apologies. I know if Yoda was completely inaccessible to free-to-play players, I'd be upset about it. But just know that most likely you will have access to Grievous at some point. And Royal Guard looks promising now. He might be worth spending some time chasing. It kind of depends where he is for you. For me, I've gotten him in a couple of my free packs, and that's why I have as many shards of him as I do. So I'll definitely take him to 4. I may take him to 5 just to kind of see what he's like. Those are the major aspects of the patch, and I'll be back tomorrow with some more Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes information. So until next time, see you later on Tinygrams Games.